Channel 11 presents Talk It Over. Here's your host, Ellen Adelstein.
You will do my show.
I'm not going to do it.
You're going to be the guest on my show today.
I'm not going to do it.
Yes, you will.
I am not going to do it.
Ah!
Oh!
My guest on Talk It Over today is Calvin Brown, professional Hollywood stuntman. Are you there, Cal? Stay with us. We'll be right back. My guest, as I told you in the last segment, is Calvin Brown. And Calvin is a professional Hollywood stuntman. Obviously, he did not hurt himself from that blow. And besides being very famous in his own right, he is the father of the U of A's own Russell Brown. Welcome to Tucson, Cal.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to come to Tucson.
How did you become a stuntman?
For money. Actually, what really got me involved in it, I started in 1958. At the time, they had no black guys that could do any type of stunts. And I started falling out of trees and off of horsebacks. And so the word got around, if you need a black stunt guy, call Cal Brown. And so at the time, I was working primarily as an extra. That's when you walk through the masses and the scenes, you see a guy walking down the street with a bag in his hand, that type thing. And then I was making like $18 a day working extra. But when I would do a stunt, I would make $125 a day. So I started doing stunts.
It doesn't take too much arithmetic to figure that one out.
That's right.
How did you learn to do stunts, though?
Well, basically, any athlete can be a stuntman. Primarily, the main things you had to learn was the camera angles, what hand to use when the camera was here, or where to fall if the camera was there. So you want to deceive the audience, but not really deceive them. You want them to see them like you did just now. They actually saw you hit me, and you and I both know that you didn't touch me.
No.
So I just reacted to what you were doing to show the audience that it was a physical encounter, Yeah. And so that's about basically the same thing.
Interestingly enough, it took us, about 15 or 20 minutes to work out that little 3 or 4 second segment that they saw when we worked on it in the studio beforehand.
Well, it takes a lot of practice to be a stuntman or a stunt woman or a stunt person, I might as well say now, a stunt person. Because basically I've never worked with you before, say, and I have to know your moves and your limitations in order to protect myself. That's number one. That was the one I kept telling you, don't get too close to me so you wouldn't hit me in the nose. Give me time to react. On each blow, you give me time to react, sell your punch, or to sell your power. And then the power that you hit me, that took me over the couch. See, that was very well planned because we took time to do it. When you don't take time to plan these things, one of the persons that's involved in this fight scene, or whatever you might call it, or the stunt, will get hurt, or get hit when it shouldn't get hit.
Or it will look sloppy.
Or it will look sloppy, right. And basically, and also, in the stunt profession, you have certain rules. I can tell what hand you're going to hit me with by looking at your feet. Because whatever hand you're going to throw, that leg on that same hand is always behind you. Mm-hmm. And so if you're going to throw this, I know you're going to throw a left hand because your left foot is back here. Mm-hmm. But now if you throw it from here, you're going to look real awkward if you try to cross it up and throw a right hand. And see, because you can't sell the power, I could easily push you over because you're off balance anyway.
Well, now, one of the interesting things, while we were practicing or rehearsing that little scene, I noticed how you were acting. It was like 90% acting and about 10% the ability to fall over the couch and not kill yourself. But also, you were concerned about the camera angles, and you instructed our camera people and where to put the cameras and so on. And I was amazed at just how big a part that is.
Yeah, there's a reason for that, because if the camera's not placed just precisely in the right point, and you are standing here, there was no way that we could sell to the public that you were hitting me. So I wanted to put them where your fist would come through one of the camera lenses here. The body punch, it would sell anyway because you actually made contact, so we know that's a hit. Mm-hmm. But the facial punch, I have to have the cameras in the right position so the camera can see your hand going through my face, and then I react to that with the sell that you actually hit me or you knocked my head off. And the acting part of it is 90% of the stunt. You have to be able to be an actor to carry out the things that you know that's not really happening to your body. Because I felt no pain. I felt no pain going over the couch because I get my old trusties. because I go over with my elbows first, and I put this on so it would absorb the shock of the floor when I went over. And then the couch really helped me because it came with me, and so it cushioned the whole blow on the other side.
And took it. We have a clip from a $6 million man that was recently shown here on Channel 11. And when I met you and asked you to do the show, we started looking for pieces of footage that you were in, and we found out you were all over the place.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this one right now.
My man, Lee Majors.
Is he enjoyable to work with?
Very much so. Well, Lee and I go back a long ways. We are not only do we work together, we are very close friends. We play football every Saturday together, and we socialize together. And he's just an all-around guy.
Nice guy. Now, how did you do that, though?
The first part of it when you saw.
Now we're going to rerun it for the folks, so pay attention.
Okay. The first part of it when I was walking guard duty. Incidentally, that was filmed at a Army Air Base, and I was supposed to be a security guard, and we were trying to steal something as usual. I'm always a bad guy. So, but when Lee grabs the rifle out of my hand and throws me, he only throws me as far as I can jump, because that was a jump from when he swung, we got it all on 1, 2, 3, go. So I jumped past the camera. Now, when you see me hit the wall, I just stand back 4 feet, step in, and throw what we call a rolling block into the wall. So I just actually jumped into the wall myself. Incidentally, that was hard concrete, but I also had my thrusters, my hip pads, and everything else I can use.
Why don't you hold those up a little bit more?
It's just ordinary pads that all athletes use in basketball, football. It protects the old bones and keep you from getting abrasions and scratches, which when we get a scratch, we say we are lucky. But I had a big one down here where I broke my leg, so these couldn't help that because I was just too high.
How many times have you broken something?
Fortunately, that was the only break and the only injury I've ever had doing stunts.
That's amazing.
And I did that after the first 10 years. And so I think it's time for me to get out of it now, because I've gone another 10 now. So I think at the end of this year, I would have put 20 years in.
20 years as a stuntman.
Right. And with one broken leg,
that's
broken bone.
Incredible.
But I've been knocked out about 5 times, because in rehearsals, you almost did it. Remember, you hit me in the nose? And they said, oops, excuse me. I used to start fights on the set when you say, oops, excuse me, because sometimes you think it's intentional.
Now listen, I hope my children are watching. Now I almost knocked out Cal Brown here. They better pay attention when I say don't. We have another clip coming up, and will you explain what goes on here? This is another $6 million man. And
Lee kept me working, didn't he?
yes, he did.
I love the man, yeah. Now this, we are trying to hijack a doctor. I was getting out of the car, he kicked the door, and with this bionic leg, I just fall back into the car, and I think I'm through that.
Okay, now this
This is going. Oh, thank you.
This whole fight scene now will show people later on how easily it can be faked. It's mostly emotions rather than the physical contact.
So that's also a trade secret. You see the guys flying through the air.
Yeah.
That's the second cut. You see the bionic man there, he just pick you up and you just jump about 2 feet. With the next shot, you go hit a tramp and go up in the air. This is in the warehouse. That's the bionic.
There you go,
yeah,
then.
Right through the boxes and the cans.
You just never stay on your feet, do you, Cal?
I never win a fight. I always lose. I'm always a bad guy, but I cannot win a fight on television or in a movie. But I have fun getting beat up.
Well, now, wait a minute. Didn't you do Bill Cosby's stunts?
Yes, I did all of Cosby's stunts throughout the I Spy series, and then last January we did a thing called Top Secret over in Rome, Italy, where I jumped out of a helicopter 15 feet to a moving bus going down the street. I did it 6 times. Fortunately, nothing happened to my legs or my body, and they paid me very well for it.
I think we'd like to talk about that a little bit further. Is there anything that you'd like to comment about these scenes?
This scene here I'm a leaper. I can leap backwards, I think, farther than I can leap forward. When Lee jumps through the skylight and I turn around, he hits me in the chest, and I jump backwards about 5 feet into those boxes. And I had to stop because there was an all pit right where my head, if you looked at it real close, where my body stopped. Had I slid another foot, I would have been 16 feet down off into like a whale type thing. So I saw it, and there was a trike there that I made sure my foot hooked onto that rail before I went any further. I just dug my heel into it and stopped myself, you know. And on the bionic man, $6 million man, he can never hit you with this bionic fist. This is why he's always grabbing you, throwing you, or pushing you. Some kind of code that they would not permit him to strike a person with this fist. And he's an all-around athlete. He's an athlete himself, and he does some of the basic stunts himself. But now when he get into the rough stuff, he has a stuntman that does it for him.
The heavy stuff like jumping from helicopters.
Yes, and he would not jump from a helicopter.
Only you would do that.
Yes, Cosby wouldn't even get in the helicopter, so I did the whole thing. So if you had a chance to see that movie, it was a 2-hour movie a week. I think it was back in June sometime. All the stuff in the helicopter, that was me.
And you jumped from a helicopter to a moving bus?
Yes.
How did you do that?
Just jumped. Just got out and jumped.
Did you hold your nose?
No, I was watching the bus. Because the guy that was the helicopter pilot, he spoke no English, and I speak no Italian. So I had to try to give him a jerk cue to come down, or he's up too high. And the bus driver was the same way. He couldn't speak to me, and I couldn't speak to him. So I would jump before he went into a curve in the road. I made sure I had a straightaway. And then I would jerk the pilot so I could come down. Then I would say, hold right there. Then I would jump. The first time I jumped 3 feet because I know how they were going to react, or how the helicopter was going to react after my 225 pounds left the helicopter. So then I went up to 10 feet. They said, that's very good. Let's see if we can get some more. I said, okay, take it 12, and that's so far as I'm going. So I jumped 12 feet, and I hit the bus. They loved it. Then I jumped off the bus onto a bad guy coming out of the bus and fought in the briars, bleeding all over my hands. But it's fun. I enjoy it.
I bet it's just
Plus,
tons
I
of
enjoy
fun.
Italy, too.
How do you land on the bus, though, without breaking every bone in your body? I mean, those pads look sufficient for the little scene we just did, but that's not from the air.
No, from the bus, you land on your feet. You can't have pads. I didn't have any pads on the bus or anything. Only thing I did to the bus, I put some sandpaper strips on it so I wouldn't slip when I hit. Because the moment I landed on the bus, I immediately fell down forward and crawled to the front of the bus because the helicopter went around and landed in front of the bus to stop it. And then I got up and got to the edge of the bus to jump on the bad guy and then do the rest of the fight outside.
So you landed feet up and then slid down on the
No,
bus.
I didn't slide. Thank goodness I didn't slide. If you slide, you break your leg. So I just landed first and then laid down.
Oh, laid down.
Face first. Because the moment you get a jerk, you hurt your back. Only thing that a jump like that, when it really bothers you, it just jolts your whole body. You feel it, it comes up, the impact, you feel that. And my knee did swell up from the number of times I jumped. I jumped 6 times. So, but it worked out fine.
What do they pay you for a stunt like that?
For the stunt out of the helicopter, I was charging them $3,000 a jump. So that day I must have made about $10,000 for that day, which I could have gotten killed, and once I would have had the money, Once incidentally was my wife.
I think you're a pretty brave man.
No, crazy.
Crazy. Okay. Okay, we'll be back with my crazy guest in just one moment. As we mentioned before, my guest is Cal Brown, and he is the father of our own Russell Brown, the U of A star guard. I don't know what we do without Russell. But I know that you're a very close-knit family. I know that you and your wife come over for every single game if you're within how many hundreds of miles. That Russell's brothers are in Tucson with him, and a very close-knit family. How does your stunt work take hold on your family? Does it tear them to pieces? Do they?
Not really. Usually when I tell onesie, I just tell them I'm going to work. I want to tell her what I've done if I get back home, And so when I get back home, I tell her what I did today. She just looks at me, say, I'm glad that's your job and not mine, Because once has only been to the set with me once, and she saw a car run over me. And she said, I'll never go back again. Say, what would happen had you not fallen in the hole that you had to fall in? Or the car got to you before you got to the hole. So I would have got run over, that's all, you know. She said, really, right? So never asked me to come out to the set again. I don't want to go to the set anymore. I don't want to go to the parties. That department is yours. And so my sons now, they are a different breed. They love it, you know, it's exciting to them. And I noticed you mentioned that I have the other boys down here. I have 2 other boys with them. I have adopted 10 boys. So I have a family of 12 boys from 17 to 20.
You have how many boys?
12.
No wonder you're jumping out of helicopters to feed all those boys.
Right, and they just as large, some of them as large as I am, you know. And we have a ball. We fight in the backyard. They keep me in shape. So they help me train for different stunts and stuff. I didn't know how this was going to be. I had one, he was dying to come down here to be on the show. He said, Papa, will I get to throw you over the couch or whatever, you know? I said, I don't know. But he was excited about it, you know. They love it. When they see me on TV, they call all their friends. Pop's on television and watch him go through this wall. I tell them what I'm going to do after I've done it, you know, they say. What are you going to do in this show? You're going to get beat up again? That's a pet word. I said, of course I'm going to get beat up again. Yeah.
I was going to ask you some more about your stunt work, but how did you and Wanzi decide to adopt so many children?
Well, it started off with one kid, and he was having problems with his family. He was beginning to get in trouble with the law, and I figured that and he was very close to Russell. They had gone through everything together, kindergarten. And so I said, well, maybe I can do something for this kid. So I went and talked to his mother. He was from a broken home. And she said, I cannot handle him. I said, well, let me adopt him. Because he spent the night at my house most of the time anyway. Mm-hmm. I said, let me adopt him. It'll become legal, then I can get him into Inglewood School. And we can make a man out of him. She said, I would appreciate that very much. So we went to court, and I became his legal guardian, or his foster parent. And then the other kids will come back and say, Mr. Brown, we got this other guy. You know, he's getting in trouble, he's doing this. Can you handle him? And so we kept on doing this, and then looked up. I was adding the rooms to my house. And then we had 10 boys plus the 2 that we had by birth. And so we have a happy family, and they all get along very well. I don't have any problems with them getting along at all.
And you have marvelous sons. No Russell better than the others, and I'm not just saying that because we continually see the U of A basketball players come in here, and you can tell the ones that have love and strength coming from their families, and Russell's one of them. He's a fine young man.
Thank you very much.
His leadership on the court shines, as well as his skill. I mean, we all know he's a great basketball player, but I love to watch for those signs of leadership and how he'll keep his teammates from getting into a fight or picking up a technical foul, or just showing those sparks of leadership that...
Well, that started from me because I played ball, and my best sport was basketball. And I would hate for one of my teammates to get a technical foul. And to me, that's the most dumbest thing can happen, especially when you're in a crucial moment. You know, you get a silly technical foul, they get the shot, they get the ball back out. And we play rough in my backyard. We have a half court. I play with them rough. This is why Russell's not afraid to go under the basket. I've knocked him on the ground so many times, it's a shame. But I would not allow them to swear. They cannot swear. I said, it's nothing but a foul. So go to the line and shoot it. If the referee misses it, just go back and start all over again. You can't do anything about it by cursing. It's not going to help your game any better. So keep your composure and play your game. This is why not only Russell, all the kids at my house, they don't curse, they don't swear, and they all play basketball.
And they play it pretty well, too.
Yeah, because Pops roughed them up in the backyard.
Yeah. That picture the other night of Russell in the paper showed the 2 guys making a sandwich out of him, and I thought it's a good thing he had his dad.
He was saying, help, Mom! I enjoy coming out and watching them play ball. Not only Russell, but the whole U of A basketball, and the program is so fantastic. This is why I would go out of my way to suggest kids to come to U of A if they play. Well, I don't know any other areas of the athletic program but basketball. So if I have a kid that I think that's dynamic, that can fit into Coach Snowden's plans, I will definitely suggest that, hey, get in touch with U of A and talk to Coach Snowden's or Coach Holmes or any of his staff and see what you can do, or get them to come down and look at a game.
Did you know Fred Snowden before he came recruiting Russell?
No, I didn't, but it was so incidental. My older brother and Fred were classmates. Neither one of us knew this at all. And so I did Fred a dirty trick. When he was recruiting Russell, I hid my older brother in the kitchen. And just as he got into his pitch, I said, excuse me just a minute, coach. So I get my brother. And Snowden was sitting just like this in my house. My coffee tables are almost identical right here. So when Al comes through the door, he jumps from a sitting position over the coffee table. And they were just hugging. He looked at me and he said, that was dirty, man. You done blew my whole pitch. What Mrs. Brown is going to think, I said, it's all right, coach. We knew then that Russell was coming here anyway, so I played the game with it. It was really funny, though.
You got one up on the Fox.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, for our closing segment, Cal's going to show you how we staged that first fight.
Okay, I staged it this way because of the camera angles and the confinement of the stage that we're working in. The reason I had you to punch me in the stomach with this hand here, to get me down here, so you can sell the punch here. Okay, a lot goes to this, the foot movement and everything. The reason I did this rather than do this, if you notice from your camera now, there's no way you can show that she hit me. But now from this way, she hit me. And this is why camera angle plays a hell of a part in doing a fight scene. Normally you have a stunt coordinator doing all this for you, telling you which way and how many cameras you got. This is the reason I asked, how many cameras are we going to use? So I know how to get in a circle that we can sell to your audience all things we're doing where it would look like you are actually doing things to me.
And I had to take enough time to let you react to the stomach punch.
Right.
I wanted to come across too
acting
fast.
is it, because if you come in here and you come too fast, I can't get up in time to act.
So you have to,
right.
ooh, I got you.
So you get me again. And so usually when you get hit, the first thing you do, you say, whoom, and see, but you didn't move, so you got to move your head, right?
Right.
See, now that's another part of it. I'm only as good as you are. If you don't react to my punch, it look like nothing. And see, I did this, and you didn't move your head, so I didn't even hit you.
You got me.
See, now that's got you right there.
You got me.
See, this the acting plays a very important part of doing each stunt.
right.
And
Okay.
the footwork, we know which way you're going to throw the
To
punch.
punch.
Yeah, and then another thing, when you get hit, you're not supposed to get hit. This has happened. That happened, see?
That's it. We're talking over. Thank you, Cal Brown, professional
It's my
Hollywood
pleasure.
stuntman.
It's my pleasure very much. I enjoyed it too very much.
Thank you.
You've been watching Talk It Over with your host, Ellen Adelstein. Join us every week at this same time for Talk It Over here on Channel 11. The preceding program was pre-recorded.